GoodsOnSale.com here for a portable or countertop ice maker review and test. Today we're going to be testing the Igloo 26. This is capable of making 26 pounds of ice in 24 hours, or so they say. We're going to test it to find out. And we also have the New Air AI 215. This is capable of making 50 pounds of ice in a 24-hour window. So we are going to match these two up. Obviously, just taking a look at the two, you can see there's a huge size difference. The New Air is about 2 times the size of the Igloo. It's also about 2.5 to 3 times, depending on the time of year, more expensive. So is it worth it? Is it worth that extra money? That's what we want to test. So like I said, the Igloo claims to make 26 pounds of ice in a day. We are going to test that. And the New Air claims to make 50 pounds of ice in a day. We're going to go ahead and test that, in addition to a few other things. Each one of these ice makers has a reservoir in the bottom. We want to test how much ice do you get out of one fill of water in the reservoir. We also want to test how much ice do you make in one cycle, meaning how much ice can you make before the machine cuts off. Both machines have automatic cutoff because they can't have ice just filling up, stacking up. So once it reaches a certain level, the sensors sense that and then shut the ice off. We want to see how much ice is made in that, how much ice is made on one fill of a water reservoir, and last but not least, how much ice can these make in an 8-hour window. So we'll take a look on the inside, show you that these are in fact filled to capacity with water, or we filled them to the max line, and then we will start the timer and we'll pick back up at the end of this video with the results. All right, so first we'll show you the inside of the Igloo. Take a look on the inside. Here is the ice catching basket, and below you'll see that the water is filled right up to the max line there. So we have this filled to capacity with water. And then over here on the New Air, same situation. The ice basket is empty and the water level is right to that max line right there. So we have the timer set up. We are going to time first how long does it take to make the first batch of ice. Then we're going to time how long does it take to fill up the basket of ice, and then we'll also time how long does a reservoir of water last. How much ice can you get out of one reservoir of ice before you have to refill it with water. Lastly, we're going to see how much ice can each of these two devices make in an 8-hour span. So we're going to go ahead and start these right now. We'll go ahead and turn this on. That one's on. We will turn on the New Air and we'll go ahead and start the timer. You can hear the Igloo is already cycling. The New Air is just now starting to pump water. There it goes. You probably can hear it. And we'll start the timer. So we'll see how much time does it take for each of these units to produce the first batch of ice. And then we'll see, like I said, the rest of the test. And we'll come back at the end of the video and wrap it up. After an hour and 5 minutes, the Igloo has maxed out with ice. As you can see, the ice full light is on. We're filled up. There's the little sensors across the top, so the ice is present there, so it's stopped making ice. We'll go ahead and take the basket out so you can see what it looks like. That's how much ice you get. 16, okay, so a little over a pound. 2 hours, 1 minute, and we've reached capacity with the New Air. So you'll see how much more ice is in this compared to that Igloo. So it does have a sensor that automatically kicks it off, obviously, when we reach capacity. And here's how much ice you get in just over 2 hours. So after 8 hours, we finally have some data. Unfortunately, the Igloo did not produce enough ice to register on the scale. So as you're seeing right now, what I had to do is hold the ice. Well, I guess I should back up. What we did is every time that each one of these machines would max out with ice, there's sensors in the top of it to shut it off when the ice has reached its maximum. We would take that ice out, put it in a bag, put it in the freezer, and then we held it for the end of the test. So back to what I was saying, the Igloo did not produce enough ice to register on scale. So what I had to do is take the ice bag, hold it, and then subtract my weight from the scale, as you're seeing right now, and the Igloo produced 5.6 pounds of ice. The New Air, on the other hand, did produce enough ice to register on the scale, and ironically enough, it produced exactly double the amount of ice that the Igloo produced. That was 11.2 pounds of ice that it produced in an 8-hour window. Now, how did that break down? The New Air produced 3 bins of ice. I'll show you what the bin looks like. So every time time we would fill up, this would reach to capacity. We were producing about 3.73 pounds of ice, and we had to fill up the reservoir 2 times throughout the test, two times throughout that 8-hour window. The Igloo, on the other hand, produced about 1.1 pounds of ice throughout that 8-hour span, and we had to fill up the reservoir 3 times. So you get an idea of how much ice is being produced in that span. We only tested for 8 hours, but based on the numbers, I believe that both of these machines can meet their advertised quantity of 50 pounds with the New Air and 26 pounds on the Igloo. So speaking of ice, let me show you what each of the machines produce, which is bullet ice. Many of you are familiar with this. As the name implies, it looks just like a little bullet. As you can see, there is a hole on this side because what happens is a rod is dropping down into water and then the ice is forming around that. I want to talk about this because a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago, there was a rage where everyone was asking about this sonic ice, and machines were being released and producing what they call sonic ice. For me, the bullet ice is very similar to that small cubed ice that you would get from Sonic and some other restaurants. One of my favorites, Zaxby's. But like I said, the ice is much softer, similar to that cubed ice or shaved ice or whatever you want to call it, wherever you get it from, whatever restaurant. It's a softer ice than what you would get in your refrigerator or your freezer at home. So it's not quite that Sonic ice, but it's very close, and I bring that up because these machines are significantly less expensive than some of the ice machines that are making that type of ice. So keep that in mind. If you like to chew ice like me, it is a softer ice, probably way better for your teeth, although it's probably not good to be chewing ice, but hey, it is what it is. A few other things I want to touch on that make these machines different is the cleanup, because like I said, we kept this in our travel trailer for a total of 6 months as we toured across the US, and if you leave water in the reservoir of this machine and you leave the lid closed for even a day, day and a half, 2 days, you will open it up and start to feel a slime on the inside of the machine. It's pretty nasty. So what we figured out we had to do is dump the machine out. If we weren't going to be using it, dump the machine out and then just leave the lid open so that it could air out and that slime or whatever was growing in there wouldn't grow. The nice thing about the New Air is it has an auto clean feature, so you can actually clean the machine, and more importantly for me, it has an easy way to drain the machine out. The drain on the Igloo is on the bottom, or what we did is usually just tip it over, which is not a good thing because obviously you have a compressor in the back that you're not supposed to be doing that, but that's just the reality of the way we did it. So for me, it's much easier to keep the New Air clean. Speaking of cleaning, this thing is a little bit of a task to clean. I noticed, I guess it was probably 3 months into owning the machine, that it started making really small ice cubes, and I couldn't figure out why. What was happening is there's a little device in the back of the machine that fills the water tray in the back, and it got some gunk on it. It was some pretty nasty stuff, and the only way I could get it off was with a toothbrush in the back. So keep that in mind, guys, that you do need to keep these things clean. There's a couple videos online. I'll probably do one myself on how to clean this, because it is a little bit tedious getting up under there and getting all the rods clean to make sure that you're not drinking some nasty bacteria. Or like I said, the least you can do is drain it out and leave the lid open. So anyways, that is a wrap of the comparison between the Igloo and the New Air. Just wanted to give you an idea of what the two machines look like so you can see how much ice can they produce. Does it jive with what they're advertising? Yes, it does. We're gonna have a full write-up of both of these ice makers on coolersonsale.com, as well as many others that we already have on the site. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, give us a thumbs up. It's what helps us to keep going, and we'll be back next time for more video reviews.